Oh, hey there, I didn't see you come in. Where's that? Where's that I'm taking you today? Off of a crazy noisy street with lots of wind blowing and such wonderful, wonderful weather. We're going to Jackie's Cafe. It's a little hidden gem inside of this gigantic building, which I don't know what it houses, but you wouldn't know it's here, hiding underneath the Lawton's drugs, and it's awesome. Let's get inside, because it's cold out. I have this place pinned in bucket list because we're talking about homemade Hong Kong style food. I am hype. I love beef noodle soup. I love congee in the morning. I love turnip cake. You know I'm a big turnip cake fan, so I'm here to try all that Jackie's Cafe has to offer. I don't know if I'm gonna have the food capacity in my stomach to try the Polo buns, but they make their own. There's a lot to try. We'll see what I can manage. Ooh. If you've never had Hong Kong milk tea before, but you have had bubble tea before, then you've kind of had it. It's the base of like the pulled tea with the milk and the sugar in it. There's no boba inside of it, but a nice hot Hong Kong style milk tea is so satisfying, especially in the wintertime. Food is coming. I went for the house special, which is the beef noodle soup with shrimp wonton, which is quite nice. If you've never had beef noodle soup before, everyone has their own version of how they make it, but the part that I really like is this kind of dried egg noodle. It's not like an udon, it's not like a soft floury one. It's a lot firmer, but it tastes really nice. I'm just gonna try to separate it into a manageable bite for me. Itadakimasu. Very nice. Ooh, yum, yum, yum. And these pieces of beef look so soft. If you can take them apart with your ohashi, with the chopsticks, then you know that it's good stuff. This is like, to me, the Asian equivalent of a comforting beef stew. The beef should fall apart. It shouldn't be rubbery. And this just fall apart deliciousness. Let's go in for the shrimp wonton. I've actually never had a shrimp wonton and beef in my beef noodle soup before. Is it going to wear my face off? We'll find out. Beautifully plump shrimp, not overcooked and rubbery, just delightful. And the noodle on the outside is so light, but not falling apart. It's not overcooked. Oh, this is scrumptious. And one of my favorite things, which always sounds weird, is, have you ever had lettuce in your soup before? Well, it is a beef noodle soup classic. It tastes so good in the soup. I don't understand if it's a specialty lettuce or if it's just the way that iceberg lettuce was meant to be consumed. I'm so happy. We've got homemade radish cake here, and I cannot wait to tuck into these. Radish cake, I think I've told you before, is shredded daikon, and they mix it with a kind of starch of choice, and then they can put in little bits of bacon, not actually Canadian style bacon, but I'm just giving you the equivalent of what it is. It's kind of like a smoky type of meat. Oh, look at that. How nice. I'm gonna try it on its own, and then afterwards I'll do a little bit of hoisin and a little bit of hot sauce. 25 more, please. That really, really hits the spot. Whew. Have you ever had a polo bun? Sometimes known as a pineapple bun. I think of this as like the Hong Kong version of like melon bun. The outside of the bun is covered with this kind of sugary cookie that melts on top when it's baked that creates this pattern, which is supposed to be like the pineapple pattern. In Japan, they have the melon pun, which does not taste like melon. It's got a cookie that melts when it bakes and creates a melon pattern. They've done some anti-up stuff right here. This is the polo bun, and instead of serving it up with a delicious slab of butter, which I recommend, they've put in a pork chop. How delightful. And they're homemade. This is all homemade. Look at this, the barbecue sauce squeezing through. Barbecue sauce, pork cutlet. You can get chicken as well. What can go wrong? Nothing. Nothing can go wrong with this. I'm going in. Oh my God. That is so tasty. The pork chop is perfectly cooked, super juicy. You've got the fluff, soft nature of the bun. This is the pineapple, the polo pork. Oh my gosh. If you've ever had maple bacon, or you've ever had honey ham, or you've ever had anything where you have a meat combo with something a little bit sweet, you'll know it's kind of like a salted caramel match in heaven. And this is absolutely amazing. If you can't order anything else and you're just in a hurry, come on down to Jackie's Cafe and get yourself a polo bun. Wow. Feels like a breakfast of champions.
It's the morning, and I'm not paying for expensive, mediocre hotel coffee, so we're walking over to Weird Harbour Espresso Bar. Whenever I travel, I make an effort to support small local businesses if possible. We followed a little wooden street sign and ordered 2 scrumptious flat whites. Be aware there's no seating, but a lovely standing space by a bright window lined with plants is perfect for people watching. Oh, and keep your eyes open for the North American house hippo. Very rare spottings. Now I'm enjoying my morning scrumptious coffee at the Halifax Waterfront, and these chairs are hella better than benches. And look, I'm not just about food. I'm an art lover as well, and I do love it when art imitates life. When you first lay eyes upon these wacky street lamps, you might think, oh, they're melting. But that's your innocence shining through. These lampposts are drunk as skunks. The stages of drunk. Stage 1. Ooh, man, I really have to pee. Stage 2. I feel great. Stage 3. I don't feel so great. And with the 3 stages of drunk on the waterfront, you can see that Halifax also has a sense of humor. And speaking of waterfronts, look at these epic waterfront views. I just wish more people knew about these wonderful places in Canada. I mean, maybe we could make some kind of catchphrase or memorable jingle to help people remember the name Halifax, Nova Scotia. I wonder if there was something we could do to spread the word. Ooh, I got it. Roll the clip. Do you want all the comforts of a city, but with beautiful oceanfront views? Then come on down to Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's giving away ocean sunset views for free. You like free art? Well, while walking around the city, you'll discover gigantic graffiti murals for days. You'll find it in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And down by the harbour, a kinetic marvel awaits you. This 60-foot towering art piece is called the Tidal Beacon, and it reacts to the wind and tide. So you can actually see the air rippling around you, and it's beautiful. Free to be seen if you come to Halifax, Nova Scotia. But Martina, how will I find these wonders in Halifax if I'm traveling from overseas? Fear not, brave traveler, I have the perfect solution, and they just happen to be the sponsor of this video.
Oh, what an adorable cat. This is what social media is made for. Yes, yes. Data, precious data. Fantastic when you're at home, but it can be an additional stress if you start traveling outside the country. Yes, I remember the days of wandering around strange airports looking for kiosks that will sell me a local SIM card that I've got to pry into my phone. But no more. Thanks to the brainiacs at Saily and my eSIM compatible phone, I can purchase my data and activate it before I travel. That way, once I arrive at my destination, I've got data and I'm all ready to go. It's super easy. You download the Saily app, you choose your destination, and then you purchase the amount of data you want for your travel. Use my promo code KINGKOGI to get 15% off your first purchase. And with all that precious data now at your fingertips, you can use Google Maps, call an Uber, or use the translation apps. I wonder what chopsticks is in French.
Baguette.
I wonder what drumsticks are in French.
Baguette.
I wonder how to say eat a baguette with chopsticks.
Manger une baguette avec des baguettes.
French people, explain yourselves. You can scan the QR code on the screen or go to Saily.com and you can use my promo code KINGKOGI to get an exclusive 15% off your first purchase. And now that you know how easy it is to get data while traveling overseas, I want to go somewhere really fun, like maybe a gigantic underground arcade bar with like a hidden entranceway that has amazing music nights, all hosted and available in Halifax, Nova Scotia. No, really, it's literally hidden underground. It's accessible only by passing through a beer brewery and then into the basement. I felt like I entered into the movie Hackers, the most amazing, ridiculous movie with the best soundtrack, and if you haven't seen it, watch it and return to me with your comments. You know what? I'm not going to tell you where this pinball arcade is located. You'll just have to hunt it down, so there's some mystery and intrigue luring you to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nothing makes me happier than seeing the words happy hour followed immediately by oysters. I'm at Shucks Raw Bar and it's $1.50 oysters straight from the mother sauce. And if you're unsure about trying an oyster, come, let me show you what it's all about. Now, when in the Maritimes, it would be incredibly rude to not indulge in the seafood scene since we are, after all, on the Atlantic Ocean. Happy hour is one of my favorite things, but happy hour in Halifax means $1.50 oysters. Are you kidding me? On this half, we have $1.50 oysters from Nova Scotia, and on this half, we have another $1.50 oysters from PEI. We got Black Magic and we got Sure Thing. I have never tried either of these types of oysters, and if you've never had an oyster before in your life, happy hour seems like the right time to do it, because you could just get 1 or 2 or 3 and give it a go. I want to show you guys how I eat an oyster and the different sauces that you put on it, and talk about some of the flavors that comes out of this. Let's get shucking. All right, we're gonna grab ourselves an oyster. So all this kind of water that you see in here, that's brine, and so it's kind of oceany and salty. If you had salt and vinegar chips, if you've had Korean naengmyeon, and if you like pickle juice, oysters are for you, my friend. Some people will drain off the brine because they don't want it to be so salty. I am a weirdo who loves the brine. What I'm gonna do is just loosen it a little bit. It's ready to go. They have done a great job, and I'm gonna get a little bit of hot sauce, and I'm just gonna dash that on top of it. This is the first way to eat it. I'm gonna use my fork to just kind of scoop it back into my mouth in one shot. There we go. One thing about oysters that are from East Coast Canada, they're quite sweet. Not like sugar sweet, but they're not so salty and coppery. It's got this cucumbery taste. Wow, that was absolutely fantastic. I guess I'm gonna have to go for one more. And this time I'm gonna do a little bit of their vinaigrette with onion in it. Toss it on top, let's see what it's all about. This one's a little more savory. Oh wow, I'm gonna rip through these. I really hope you get the chance to try an oyster if you never had. I know for some people it's all about texture and it kind of weirds them out, but I mean, if you eat eggs, you can eat oysters. And I'm about to eat 2 dozen oysters. Itadakimasu. What's this, deja vu? No. We got another 2 dozen oysters. By the way, I'd just like to say the staff and everybody working here are so friendly. Being condescending at an oyster place is so uncomfortable because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but everyone here is so great. East Coast vibe, I love it. They even gave us some extra stuff. In Korean, I would call that service. These ones here are brand new. I'm gonna give it a go. These ones are a bit on the chubbier side. Very lovely. Very Max Verstappen of me. It's lovely, that's. Let's give it a go. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna get all of my YouTube revenue canceled for this, but they have a fantastic brass mermaid hanging from the ceiling, and she has a great pair of titties. Enhance, look at it, zoom in. Pretend you're filming me, but zoom in. Can you see them? Can you see them? How nice.
Now I'll tell you what else you can find in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Parks, Autumn Joy, Ducks. Also available in spring, summer, and winter joy. And while we're shortcutting through this gorgeous park on our way to grab a much needed coffee, all these locations I visited in this video and more are available in my Halifax digital travel guide. Links are in the YouTube info box. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Ask this duck. We're warming up at Coffeeology, a little indie coffee shop, and methinks that someone here is a motorbike enthusiast. And rejoice, they have coffee and chairs. Resting your feet and enjoying a hot beverage are two most excellent joys in life. I'll be adding that to the happiness ladder that I'm building today.
This boat here is making the most amazing alien sounds. The water is like rubbing up against that. What do you call that thing? Like a buoy or the stuff that keeps it from bumping into the pier? It's doing this like kind of like alien sound. And I don't know why. This might just be me, so please let me know if I've gone crazy here. But whenever I see boats that are like moored like this, I always think about the zombie apocalypse and how this would be the best place to go, because in all the movies, most zombies can't swim. And so I'm like, this would be the best place to be, because you could like get on the boat, like, and you're not necessarily floating out to sea, but like the zombies will be so stupid, they'll be like, "Bah," and they'll fall into the water, and you'll be safe until there's enough zombies piled up that they can then use the zombies to climb up onto the boat. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. Those are just the thoughts I have around boats. That's the sound. Doesn't it sound like an alien? Like. If you are a fan of food like me, I recommend coming to Dartmouth and then heading to Portland Street.
And some of you might recognize this wonderful location from our lobster roll video. The Cantina in Portland is famous for its unique Crobster roll and altogether delicious food. But I'd like to introduce you to another Canadian speciality, the Espresso Canadian Caesar.
Ooh. When in Canada, you must try the Caesars or the Clamatos. They make it with clam juice and tomato juice and a bunch of other amazing savory spices. It basically tastes like tomato soup. And something that I'm really enjoying is that there's a strong lack of celery nowadays. This used to always be celery. Instead, they've converted to these spicy beans that are so tasty. Let me tell you, if you like Korean naengmyeon, if you like pickles, if you like pickle juice, if you like tomato or tomato soup, this is your jam. Whoever thought of the spicy bean business, such a great idea. Also, I should mention, things like Caesars and Clamato in Japan and Korea, absolutely disgusting. I've gone to multiple bars, multiple hotels, and asked them for like a Caesar or Clamato, but the tomato juice in Japan and Korea is actually sweet. So unless they're actually stacking Clamato or V8 juice, it's always gonna taste like a nightmare. We're talking about sugary tomato juice with vodka and Worcestershire sauce and spices, and you're just like, I've tried multiple times. And so now that I'm back in Canada, I can enjoy the good stuff. That is really tasty. I didn't expect it to be so thick, but there's a lot of snow crab, so it's kind of stringy when you're pushing through it. The dill, the lemon, the cream cheese. That is an absolute winner. Wow.
Portland Street is home to unique restaurants, cafes, record shops, and bars. And if you're not a beer fan, might I recommend trying a cool, crisp cider? Lake City Cider has a unique selection of ciders made with 100% local Nova Scotian apples. It's a super friendly environment and the perfect choice to take the weight off your feet and to just enjoy some people watching. It's a short but beautiful ferry ride to Dartmouth. It runs all week long from the Halifax Harbour, but just be sure to bring some cold hard cash, as these guys are keeping things classic and very Japan with cash-only tickets. And you can ask for a free transfer for the return trip. What's not to love? Toot toot! I'm on a boat. And what adventure would be complete without an extravagant beverage or two? Dear Friends has a seasonal menu full of interesting casual bites and award-winning cocktails. The perfect way to wrap up our time here in the city. And look, we even get to enjoy a moonlit ferry ride back to Halifax. All for the low, low price of $3. Where else can you experience such discount nighttime romance? It's all here, say it with me now, in Halifax, Nova Scotia. But wait, a trip to Nova Scotia would not be complete without an adventure to Peggy's Cove. A 45-minute drive from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Peggy's Cove is a classic sightseeing location, and I've been visiting it since I was but a wee lassie. Full of delicious maritime delights and epic views, look forward to another video documenting our day trip to this wonderful little corner of Canada. Well, that wraps up our first ever beautiful everyday adventure video, Eating Required. We loved having you along for the ride, and hopefully next time you're planning a trip, you might consider coming to Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We are tantalizingly close to 200,000 subscribers. And if you don't want to sub for me, at least subscribe for my cat. He is adorable. If you don't sub, I'll starve. A big thank you to Saily for supporting these videos. And if you're traveling, don't forget to use the promo code KINGKOGI to get a 15% discount on your first eSIM purchase. And as independent filmmakers, an extra thank you to all the lovely King Kogi channel members on YouTube and Patreon. You really do help keep the airship floating onwards and upwards to our next adventures. Till next time, keep keeping it cool in the King Kogi village. Captain Martina out. Halifax, Nova Scotia! Halifax, Nova Scotia! Halifax, Nova Scotia.
I think we got something
Okay.
there.